So the first story comes from Conor McGregor. He has finally broken his silence and has reacted to Nate Diaz's fight versus Anthony Pettis at UFC 241. He posted a long and heartfelt message directed at Nate Diaz on Instagram, where he basically said he would be open to a trilogy bout versus Nate Diaz if the time came. He wrote on Instagram, 3 years to the day, myself and this Mexican warrior went to war. Congrats on the win this weekend, Nate. It was motivating to see it for my own comeback. I don't blame you not mentioning me for the trilogy bout post-fight. You know what I'm like when I get going. Vicious. I loved the round 3 style from round 1 that you implemented. It's what I was hoping you would implement for this bout and was glad to see you do it. I'll be prepared for it when we go again, if we go again. If not, respect always. A war for the ages. No bitch talk, just real shit. After being called out by Nate Diaz in his post-fight interview at UFC 241, Jorge Masvidal confirms that they are now currently negotiating for the fight to take place.
Yeah, we're ready for this fight, man. We're ready. We're just negotiating it now, and let's give the fans a fight that they want to see. 2 dogs locked in the cage, going for the jugular. You know that I get hit with a baseball bat, it don't mean nothing. And same thing with my rival. You can hit that dude with a fucking baseball bat to the kneecaps, he's gonna keep coming, you know. So it's a fight that the fans want and they're gonna get, man. I'm gonna give him my all. I know Nate's gonna give it his all. Let's do it.
How soon do you want to do this fight?
I would like to go November, December. December probably is really the date that I'm looking at.
So you MSG?
MSG don't really attract me too much, man. I didn't really like a couple of things when I fought there before with the commission and stuff. You know, I thought they were a little rough on the edges, man, to tell you the truth. And I don't need to be treated like that, man. I'm a pro, world-class athlete, you know?
Moving on, Jose Aldo has expressed interest in moving down to 135 and facing the champ Henry Cejudo. Aldo went even as far as to calling Cejudo out on Instagram. He posted this picture of Cejudo as a gnome with the caption, "We accept the challenge at Dana White at Henry Cejudo. Just say when and where and I'll be there to beat your ass and add another gnome to my collection." Henry Cejudo quickly responded with a video telling Aldo to bend the knee.
I think it's crazy these last couple months that we've had legends like, or so-called legends, like Uriah Faber, Frankie Edgar, and Jose Waldo coming down to my weight division. As a matter of fact, Jose Waldo, the self-proclaimed king of Rio. Let me tell you who Triple C is. Olympic champ, flyweight champ, and now bantamweight champion of the world. I'm the king of the world. You can do me a favor and you can bend the knee too. And one last thing, your movie sucks.
Cejudo has also been very active on Twitter, calling for a fight with Valentina Shevchenko for the intergender title. He also asked Valentina out to dinner in the very same tweet. Meanwhile, Dana White is having none of it and shuts down a potential Jose Aldo versus Cejudo fight and says he wants Cejudo to defend his belt against Joseph Benavidez instead.
Right now, we have some things playing out at 135 pounds. What we'd like to see Cejudo do is defend his title against Benavidez. Benavidez is ready. It's the right thing to do. If he can't, then he needs to give up one of the belts. I don't think Aldo could. Aldo has a tough time making 45. Benavidez is ready to go. He deserves it, and he's got to win over Cejudo.
Here we have some quick fight announcements. Amanda Nunes will face Germaine de Randamie for the Bantamweight Championship at UFC 245. Cub Swanson will fight Kron Gracie at UFC Fight Night Tampa, Florida. Eric Anders will fight Gerald Mearshart at UFC Fight Night Tampa, Florida as well. Ben Askren confirms a fight with Damian Maia for UFC Singapore on October 26th. Tyron Woodley calls out Kamaru Usman for a rematch, says he wants to run it back.
Well, I'm looking to get back in the ring next week when I get back to training. And I don't know exactly the date or the fight. My goal and my call out is for Kamaru Usman. I need to run that back.
Yeah.
I need to get that belt back around the waist. And I need to show people what the chosen one is capable of. Let's run that.
On the same show as Tyron Woodley, Brian Ortega calls out Korean Zombie for his next fight.
Korean Zombie. You talk a lot of smack on Instagram.
A whole lot of
what's up? Let's do something. Yo, Korean Zombie.
The red light, yeah.
You feeling some kind of way on IG? Let's make it a reality.
Oh.
We didn't make it happen in Mexico City for my gente, but, you know, let's make this happen ASAP.
Woo.
Your boy's hungry. Your boy's hungry.
Dan Hardy is re-entering the USADA testing pool and is looking to return to the octagon. Hardy's last fight was a unanimous decision win over Amir Sadallah over 7 years ago in September 2012. Hardy explains in an interview as to why he feels the need to fight again, referring to it as a demon he feels he needs to let out.
What made you want to come back, or at least think about coming back?
Well, it's always been there. You know, I was kind of halfway through a training camp when I got put to one side, and it just kind of, I don't know. It's within me. You know, it's like a demon I need to let out. I need to exercise it. And plus, you know, I've spent 7 years pretty much now just absorbing the sport from a wide perspective. I watch everything Fight Pass has. I'm on Flow Grappling, I'm on Box Nation in the UK. I watch everything I can, and I've just been absorbing this stuff. I feel like I've done a master's degree in martial arts over the last 7 years. I've always felt that I've never given a good account of myself in the UFC. I always felt like my best performances were, you know, perhaps in Europe or Japan before I signed. So, you know, a part of me would like to show people what I'm actually capable of just one time before I retire into a commentary role for the rest of my life.
Speaking in an interview with Ariel Helwani, Francis Ngannou reacts to Cormier versus Miocic, and he goes on to say that he's done what needs to be done to deserve a title shot versus Stipe Miocic.
Did you have an opportunity to watch the Stipe DC fight on Saturday?
Oh yeah. Honestly, I didn't expect this fight to be so intense. It was such a great fight. I mean, they hit each other very well. 3 punches, just like a few wrestling attempts. I think Stipe take over. Maybe he might be that body shot that he started to put on DC that affect DC, because DC was doing very well. I mean, maybe he was winning. I would say he was winning the fight before then. But since the Stipe started with the body shot, that's when he got in trouble. But it was a great fight, by the way.
What is the message to Stipe and the UFC?
The message is that I'm here waiting for the rematch, for the title shot, and it would be unfair to not give me that fight, because I have done what has to be done to deserve it, to prove that I can get the opportunity back, and I think it should be like that.